What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you are having a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Parker Nirenstein and this is Vehicle Virgins. We are at day one of the Geneva Auto Show, starting the day off at Mansory, who has come out with some of the most ridiculous, stunning body kits for some new cars. The A12 Superfast, we've also got a 720S over there, there's a Bugatti Veyron Super Sport, a DB11, even an S-Class, and a Rolls-Royce Phantom. Let's take a tour around that, and we have some epic reveals coming your way.
Before the night, the neon lights, the darkness invites us. Move left to right, don't lose the high. It's dangerous, drowning in the twilight. Electric eyes, you can't deny the thunder inside us. Before the night, left to right, love me in the shadows.
Mansory is known for creating some wild-looking cars, but I think this tops the charts. This is a Veyron that has this forged carbon fiber and also marble combination look to it. It also has the Bugatti logo in diamonds. Check this out, guys. That pattern is just crazy. Look at the interior as well. I saw a Mansory Veyron for the first time in Monaco. This is the second one I've ever seen. Unbelievable. And this Mansory 812. Wow. All right, just when I thought I couldn't get crazier, look at this Mansory 720S. I love what they did with the exhaust and the rear diffuser. Oof. Look at the side skirt too. That certainly makes the 720S look a hell of a lot more aggressive. I wanted to spend a little bit more time at Mansory because, to be honest, some of their older designs I wasn't a massive fan of. They were a little bit too extreme, too wild, and didn't really fit with my taste, but the latest offerings that they presented at the Geneva Auto Show are honestly mind-blowing. What they've done with the 720S is absolutely incredible. And this DB11, when I'm looking at this next to a stock DB11 over there, the difference is remarkable. This chopped carbon fiber pattern that they've got on all their cars now is just beautiful. Down on the side skirts there. They've got a Mansory S-Class as well. Interesting, it's got hints of blue in the chopped carbon fiber. I'm not sure if I'm as big of a fan of doing a Mansory sedan, but certainly tell me you don't like the way that 720S looks. Let's take a look at the interior as well. I'm not as big of a fan of this color combination, but they've certainly gone wild with the exterior as well as the inside. I do kind of like this pattern on the seats. I mean, just look at this wing. I love the pass-through right there. It's unbelievable. What's your favorite one on the stand?
Ooh, favorite one on the stand. I would say this, closely followed by that, because I love the DB11.
Yeah, me too. This is, the back of this is like perfect.
Yeah.
I'm actually impressed with how quickly they've developed these body kits. The A12 Superfast as well as the 720S really didn't come out all that long ago, yet they've already got a full kit for it. This is super cool. So as those cars had this bluish tint to the carbon fiber, this red 812 has some red elements to it. Check out the rear wing. Wow.
It's you and me, eternity, burning until the sunrise. Before the night, left to right, love me in the shadows.
Well, this is exciting seeing the 488 Pista in person after reading a ton about it. So the 488 Pista, if you missed my last video, is the more hardcore track-oriented version of the 488. It's the successor to the 458 Special. From the 488, they dropped 200 pounds off the curb weight, and they've also added 50 plus horsepower. Now, it was claimed to have 710 horsepower, although during the presentation, Ferrari said that it makes 720. The dry weight is in the 2,800 pound range, so its power to weight ratio is ridiculous. What I think is interesting nowadays is that every car that's coming out, the hardcore version, is so good that they're almost not competing with each other anymore because they've staggered the release date. So you have the 458 Special, and then a couple years later, the Performante comes out, which is faster than the 458 Special. Then this comes out, which is likely going to be faster around the track than a Performante. And then McLaren will come out with the LT version of their 720, which will then be faster than this. A very important both stylistic and aerodynamic stylistic element of the 488 Pista is the S-curve design of the front hood and front splitter. This is inspired by Formula One, and it allows air to pass through the front splitter and over the hood at an angle optimized for the 488 GT3 race car, improving downforce by over 20% compared to the 488. And at the same time, in conjunction with the newly designed rear wing, it also reduces drag. The top speed of the 488 Pista has been increased from 205 miles an hour in the 488 to 211. Not only is the new hood and front design much better aerodynamically, I also think it fixed a lot of the problems that the 488 had. Now, the 458 was the last V8 car designed by Pininfarina, and in my opinion, it was a lot more elegant and gorgeous than the 488, but they've radically changed it. The front end of this looks aggressive, and this is how it should have looked straight out of the factory. I am really impressed with the way this looks in person. The interior of the 488 Pista is absolutely insane. I remember my first time in a 430 Scuderia, the amount of carbon fiber and the lack of insulation was almost shocking. Basically everything in here is carbon fiber. Look at the doors. We don't even have floor mats. What you've got on the ground here, everything has been optimized for performance and reducing weight. Similar steering wheel to the 488, of course. I really like the interior in the 488 Pista. Check out the door handle here. They've definitely improved both the function and form of the rear of the 488 Pista over the 488 as well. Love that carbon fiber rear diffuser. Another stylistic element that's helped the looks of the 488 is having the intake vent in carbon fiber and not having that additional slat like you have in the body-colored 488 intakes. While silver isn't the color you normally picture when you imagine Ferrari, it actually works really well on the Pista, and I've just noticed that it has carbon fiber wheels. Let's take a closer look at that. Wow. Another interesting thing is you'll notice a lot of the supercar manufacturers now on their highest end, most track-oriented cars are switching to Pilot Sport Cup 2s. Obviously Lamborghini as well as Ferrari have a long-standing history with Pirelli, but the GT3 RS, the Performante, they're all running Cup 2s. Like I mentioned before, 3.9 liter twin turbocharged V8 making 720 horsepower, and apparently it has the highest specific output of any car in its class, according to Ferrari, of 185 CV per liter. Well guys, obviously I have talked a lot about the GT3 RS and me potentially getting one, and seeing this in person is making it look a lot worse for my pocketbook. This is the 991.2 updated GT3 RS. We've got 20 more horsepower than the 991.1. We've also got a higher redline, and now redline's at 9,000 RPM. One of the cool stylistic elements that have changed from the previous generation are the addition of Nakaducts on the front hood. These are low drag air inlets that help the aerodynamics of the car. Also, a revamped front bumper. We have a recalibrated rear wheel steering system, as well as a slightly retuned suspension that apparently makes quite the difference. We gotta hop inside and check out what the interior is like. Unbelievable color. I love the addition of these Nakaducts like on the GT2 RS. Makes it look a heck of a lot more aggressive. Very slight changes to the rear. The taillights are slightly different here. Same with the lower rear diffuser and the design of the wing end plates. While the interior remains very much the same, the new seat inserts are pretty cool. We have this perforated Alcantara as opposed to the plain Alcantara in the 991.1. Now, unfortunately, I'm not sure if this is true or not for the 991.2 generation, but for the current one in the US, we weren't allowed to get these roll cages for safety reasons. How crazy is that? Apparently, there was some regulation where if you weren't wearing a seatbelt, there can't be any non-deformable objects in the interior. I'm in love. We have just watched the reveal of the Huracan Performante Spyder, and of course I bumped into him. He owned a Huracan. Yep. I have a Huracan. He has a Huracan Performante. Hello. So we're all pretty big fans here, but seeing this in person, honestly, I never thought that I would want to upgrade to the Performante, mainly because even though it's a better car all around, it is similar to the Huracan, and since mine's supercharged, it's obviously slower, but if I were to upgrade, I'd pull the supercharger off and put it on the Performante. But seeing the Performante Spyder has changed my mind, because having the open top experience is something that I've never been able to experience before.
That car is exhilarating as it is.
Exactly. Imagine being able to hear the engine
in a Spyder.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting is that it was the LP570 Spyder Performante, and now it's the Performante Spyder.
Yeah.
Well, here it is, the Performante Spyder in the flesh. Honestly, I was blown away when they took the covers off. This satin blue finish is mesmerizing. So some quick facts on it. It has the same 5.2 liter naturally aspirated V10, making the same power as the Performante, 640 horsepower and 442 pound-feet of torque. It'll cost you $35,000 more, and it actually weighs quite a bit more, but it's still 77 pounds lighter than the normal Huracan Spyder. But what I think shocks me the most is I really wasn't considering upgrading to the Performante. Obviously, I have the Huracan and it's supercharged. The Performante is a better, more raw car, but it's not that different. It didn't feel different enough to the standard Huracan to warrant the upgrade, but with the Spyder variant, it would really be a big change. I've never owned a convertible car before. I'm really in love with this thing. The only thing I wish they had done with the Performante Spyder is had a roadster top. If it was a Performante Roadster, it would be more appealing. It would be a lot lighter. You'll remove the carbon fiber pieces like the Aventador Roadster, but this is a little more practical. It does truly look stunning in this color. Paul trying to get the beauty shots of the Performante. I'm not feeling the yellow interior, but other than that, this spec is incredible. All of the forged carbon bits never get old. That is my favorite form of carbon fiber, especially having it all in the interior. I remember before they actually released the Performante, when I had seen the forged carbon fiber on my engine bay, I was like, they need to integrate that into the interior. And of course, then they make it glossy, put it in the interior of the Performante, and it looks 10 times cooler. So the question is, am I buying a Huracan Performante Spyder? Honestly, before seeing this reveal, I would have told you absolutely no. I've made up my mind about the Performante, but after seeing this, I just can't imagine how incredible that V10 would sound with the top down. I'm absolutely gonna have to drive one of these and see for sure. This is definitely an exciting day for me. Two Lamborghinis that I had never seen before in person. This is my first time seeing the Urus, which Lamborghini dubs the Super SUV or SSUV. It makes 650 horsepower out of its twin turbocharged V8, and despite it weighing quite a bit, 4,850 pounds, one, Lamborghini claims it has the best power to weight ratio of any SUV, and two, it can do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds for an SUV, and it's off-road capable. That's pretty awesome. Now, in pictures, I wasn't sure how I felt about the looks, and honestly, from seeing it in person in this particular color, I still don't know if I love all of the lines, particularly on the side here. I really don't like the way that vent looks. It kind of looks almost cheap in a way. They did, however, absolutely knock it out of the park with the interior. Somehow it looks both certified Lamborghini and also like an SUV at the same time inside. For a brief moment in time, this was actually a consideration instead of the E63. Obviously, this starts at a significantly higher price point and isn't gonna come out till, I believe, around May or June in the United States, but definitely would have been an interesting option. Well, guys, I think that is the perfect place to end the video with the Chiron Sport in the background. I hope you enjoyed this one. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. We've got some exciting content coming your way from Geneva. I look forward to seeing you next video.